as well. And my biggest question for this draft is going to be that Thresh, because Jado looked way too good on that Thresh. We said that, hey, you know, Chase is really good on it too, and now Glaive is going to be on... Glaive is on blue side for this draft here, so technically they can just first pick that Thresh again if they want.
And I was talking about how Chaser can play on it as well. He does not miss these hooks, and Jado was right up there. I mean, winning the 2v2, we were talking about the support interaction, but if you're the first one and the only one to throw the hook in the bot lane in that matchup, it can become a whole different world. Plus the jungler showing up and making things happen. So love to see it, and the confidence in the 2v2 there from Trooper and Jado winning pretty strong on that end of things. And yeah, I'm surprised not to see an Akali ban so far. There's still a couple.
There we go.
All right. I didn't have to wait very long. I was gonna stall out for a little bit, saying hopefully we get it in ban 3. Maybe they were waiting a while, hoping that they could sneak it from Glaive, but yeah, there's no chance. That one's not seeing the light of day for the rest of this series.
But definitely not, because it wasn't even a laning issue. It's just in the fights you can't do with anything. But Glaive, you know what? They're returning the respect here. They're gonna ban out the Yasuo for Rio, and while they didn't win, that Yasuo was scary, and that 4-man last breath near the end of the game there was absolutely brutal to watch. That does now open up, though, the Tristana and the Sylas here for both of these teams. And while I don't know if you want to pick Sylas in the first round of drafts here, Tristana, you certainly can.
Tristana, Varus, Ezreal, Sylas, all champions still available, and this is what you get when you ban away a lot of comfort champions, whether it's the Hecarim, whether it's the Xin Zhao, Yasuo. The S tier grade A picks are always available, and there it is. I mean, that is a grade A pick, and Glaive, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just go straight back to the Rumble, and this can be flexed in multiple positions. We talked about it before, but I really think it is so much better in the jungle. Yes, you can play it in top lane. Giga is known for it, but New Age Frost just opting for a very strong engaged duo with the Shen and the Thresh. Lots of safety now, but who's it for?
I mean, the Shen here doesn't have a lot of places to go. You either go top or support. Yes, Jungle Shen was a thing. Jungle Shen still exists, but if you're picking that into Rumble, that's going to be super, super rough for you. So likely we've already seen the top here for Potato as well as the support. And I like the Thresh pickup. I just don't know if the Shen is worth prioritizing that highly. Giga doesn't generally focus it here in terms of picks. And for the side of Glaive, I don't think they've got good reason to ban the Shen. So I hope it's worth, and they're giving up the Ezreal once again here to the other side. Actually, sorry, they picked it the last time. Didn't work out, but it's still such a strong pick, and they've given that one up.
All right, so they've given up 2 now of, in my opinion, and I'm sure you're probably all on the same board, 2 of the best champions in League of Legends right now. Divine Sunderer plus the base Ezreal buffs make that champion absolutely crazy. Rumble has been in the meta for quite a while. Gallia is an interesting one, actually, to see. You can deny a big full-on engage, and oh, please give me 200 years, man. I want a Flame RC so bad. Yes, man, 200 years is on the Rift.
I mean, we'll have to see how that 200 years work out. Those bones be pretty brittle when you're up against Galio here, the Rumble as well. But you know what? I don't hate it here. I actually quite like it. You have the Thresh there, and I know you're excited. I'm sure DJ as well on the desk is going to be super excited that the Aphelios got picked up. Now, you have that Aphelios, you have that Thresh. You now need frontline to protect you. The Shen is good, but Shen alone, or Shen and Thresh alone, probably not going to be enough here. And I don't see Glaive just sitting back with this draft. They're probably going to pick something to punish that Aphelios.
Yeah, and they already do have quite a few tools to punish it. Of course, Aphelios known for his weaker MR, though is recently just buffed, so has more magic resist to provide against champions like the Rumble. But the biggest thing he struggles with is immobility and a lack of range. Like, those two combined are an AD carry's biggest weakness. Ezreal is the exact opposite. He has range, he has mobility and safety. He has no problem getting out of the 2v2, even if this does start to become scary, with a nice hook from the Thresh. So interesting stuff to see Aphelios come out so early. Now you have to ban away things that really terrify Aphelios. Things like the Gangplank, things like the Kayn, which don't really care about your front line and can just surpass anything that you throw in the way. Malphite and Sylas both taken off the board by Glaive. Now New Age. I was talking about who is this safety for? Who are you providing the front line to? And Urgot is in. Are we getting a River Shen?
I guess so. It is going to be that Jungle Shen matchup, unless they're going to put that Urgot mid here, because Urgot jungle is worse than Shen jungle, and like I said, I'm not a huge fan of jungle Shen. I refuse to call it river Shen. In my heart, river Shen is still that Shen that literally sits in the river, isn't really a jungle. But yeah, the Ergot pickup here, I mean, would do pretty nicely into the Rumble, but I just don't know how this Shen's gonna necessarily operate. Like, where are you looking to gank with this? If that is a Rumble in lane, then I think that's the lane you camp. But against the Galio, against the Ezreal, that's not useful. Zoe picked up here, and if the Shen ever really taunts Zoe, then I've just got questions. And judging by the way that we saw Puffles play, I just don't see that happening.
And more range and more magic damage for Aphelios to worry about as well, which is right now the entire team, especially because we don't know where Urgot's going, so we're going to ignore it until we get the final pick about absolutely understanding where it is. Could still be mid, I guess. It really would be strange to see. But I mean, 18 seconds left off to decide. On the other end, we get a Sejuani lock-in. Just really, it's just a front line that provides CC. There's not much there. A pretty slow clear, but you can go for early ganks. So Glaive going to grab that one for themselves. We saw it work out in game one with the first blood. Lissandra picked up means we are getting a jungle Shen, river Shen style. So will be Urgot top and the Lissandra mid to break that lockdown.
And last game, you know, I really liked what New Age Frost had drafted in terms of how their comp is going to work. This game, I'm not as high on it. I'm looking at what Glaive have drafted, and the Sejuani Rumble just works as one unit here. Zoe is Zoe and will do Zoe things for the most part. Doesn't really need a team, similar to the Ezreal pickup for the side of Tupper here, and that's just so much individual safety with that Galio. It's going to be rough, and this also gives them access to that Aphelios. If the Glacial Prison comes down, and it's so hard to dodge that out for Array on this Aphelios right now. Like, yes, the Lantern comes down, but it's got to be just perfect timing. If that ever lands, if any one CC lands, Array's not going to get to play the fight out whatsoever. And with this Zoe, the Lissandra pickup is to try and stop the mobility from Zoe. Yes, you can go in with the Frozen Tomb, lock down the Zoe, and with that Shen, you'll have enough damage to burst down. But at the same time, Lissandra into Zoe has no agency whatsoever without jungle pressure. You just sit there and get poked, and all Zoe, it's just, you're just playing dodgeball pretty much, except that you don't get to throw balls back. You've got to dodge everything coming out that Zoe. One lands, you have to base, or you're dead. That Sejuani comes in, any lockdown from that Sejuani, and you're dead as well. It feels like, yeah, you're playing on a knife's edge, but it's not really fair because the knife is already tilted halfway.
You're playing Necrox in high school dodgeball. You're taking all the hits, but you really can't throw any back because you don't have that strength built in, my friend. And New Age Frost, man, they are fully indexed into this Aphelios. I mean, Array, yeah, he performed pretty well on the Ezreal. I mean, I think there were a couple times that landing one or two more Mystic shots may have gotten a kill or two, but you can't blame him all too much. Now it's all on him, right? I mean, yes, you have the Shen to make proactive plays. Urgot can do a lot of damage late game as well, but other than that, I mean, it's just a front to back. It's so simple. New Age Frost just want to fight you in 25 minutes and later. Glaive Onyx, they have so many tools. I feel like New Age Frost, I mean, outside the dodgeball metaphor earlier, are really trying to dodge as many early game hits from McShooters and Puffles as possible.
Yeah, 100%. And with what they've drafted here, where are they looking at? Lissandra's not going to be the one to carry them through the early game. We've already talked about Aphelios. Yes, it's 200 years of pain and all that stuff, but at the same time, it takes 200 years to get there. Your Urgot is pretty much the only person you're looking at to try and carry. And Potato here didn't do too hot in the early game with that Gwen. Now, a lot of weight on his shoulders to step up here, because if that Urgot does not get big, if Urgot is not winning the lane, then I think they just get rolled by a Glaive if they play the same way they did last game. And considering that McShootums is on the same champion that was everywhere on the map, despite not necessarily getting huge CS leads, I'm just expecting more of the same.
And I think McShootums, along with the laners here, the solo laners for Glaive, have just proven themselves to be simply better. And not only do they have that mechanical skill, they now have the champions to back it up. Puffles on Zoe is something that I'm really excited to see. I think the champion is absolutely crazy when put into the right hands, and he looks hot tonight. So if he is landing skill shots, the only champion that's really going to be able to tank them would be Age King on the Shen. Even Potato is going to be kind of squishy with something like a Stride Breaker. So Glaive, man, if they just hit you up front, I'm not sure how many blows New Age can take. RMC, now is where I got to hit you with a big question. And this one I'm giving to you because I have no clue where New Age are going to go. At what point, at what itemization or minute into the game do fights start to turn around, if ever, for New Age?
For New Age, they're waiting for that 2-item power spike for the Aphelios. So we're roughly looking at about, maybe 15, 20 minutes, depending on how things go. That is normally where we look for them. But I think, honestly, we're probably going to look further down the road, because I don't expect to see Glaive let that Aphelios skill unpunished here. We saw that they're more than happy to take advantage of a weak lane here. So I think for New Age Frost, they're not going to survive the early game well, and I'm looking at them to try and stall it for 30 minutes or so. And they did do it last game, but if you're that far behind by 30 minutes, it's not coming back.
30 minutes is a while to wait, and I'm not sure that I have the patience built in me to wait 30 minutes to see New Age do anything. I don't know. Glaive, one of the teams that you just can't let them get what they want, because they will execute on it 10 out of 10 times and then some. Glaive, they've done it before. Yes, it's a new roster, but they continue to do it this season. And with a jungler like McShootums and solo laners like Giga and Puffles, I fully expect them to put the pedal to the metal and take a game 2. My prediction is locked in. I think this one's going to be Glaive all the way. New Age, please surprise me. Please give me 200 years of excitement. Right after our spectator delay runs out, RMC will be waiting with myself in a different room, watching this one break down, while DJ and Dia give you the action on the Rift. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Rift, ladies and gentlemen, for Game 2 of Glaive Esports Onyx versus New Age Frost. We've swapped sides this time, but I think that my favorite thing going into this game is what was said right before it, because our analysts were none too pleased about the Aphelios into this composition, although I will say that Necrox hopes for the best here. As our resident Aphelios expert, there is little hope for Array to actually be able to play the game.
Yeah, I wish I could be as hopeful as Necrox is, but there's one thing that Aphelios hates more than anything else, and that is, having access to fights. And you don't get to have access to fights when everyone on the enemy composition has literally a crap ton of extra range on you, so you never get to auto anyone in fights. And the second problem with that is, okay, if they're too far away from you, draft engage. Well, where's the engage? The Lissandra, I think, was sort of supposed to be the answer, but Lissandra's got some of the most predictable and slow engage in the entire game. I think it's easily canceled out by a Galio in the front of it. So I am nervous about New Age's ability to get onto champions like Zoe, like Ezreal, and they don't ever need to interact with Aphelios to do damage. So I think it's going to take a big effort by New Age to overcome this, but we know they're scrappers. We know they love to find some weird angles. I think they struggled to do it last game, so hopefully they're bringing out some of that spice, some of that ability that they have in their lockers this time around.
It certainly seems like it, and although we're kind of poo-pooing the team fight prowess of a New Age Frost with a specific composition, I do want to say that their side lanes actually look a little bit better than last game, specifically with Protato on the Urgot. I want to see a little bit of investment into the top lane to get him going, because if you look at the composition from Glaive, there aren't a whole lot of people that can keep him in check.
Yeah, I think he could definitely potentially run over the lane. Hold on, though, Chaser!
Gonna get ignited, gonna flash away, and it will be just barely, actually, dodging out on that last mystic shot that would have sealed his fate. But bot lane remains actionless for now, and that's exactly what both teams want, although at least looks like Glaive Esports look for a cheeky bit more.
Yeah, a little bit of pusher, but this is a mirror image of last game. Potatoes just caught again, Dia.
It's funny because it's the mirror image of last game, like you say, but he's also not even pushed up all the way to the turret because McShootums already knows there's no ward there. I'm not going to get caught on this. I've read this book before, and this time they do it just that much earlier, just that much worse for Potato.
Yeah, and it's, again, a nice answer from New Age, but guess what? They can't lock down Puffles, so we see the KDAs come out there.
Our producer loves to do this thing. This isn't the first time it's happened, where something will happen, and the stat will get thrown up that directly just, is the weirdest in this scenario. The fact that Potato has an 8 KDA versus 1.5 doesn't look right when he's getting first blooded twice in a row.
I don't believe that. I think that's flip-flopped, I would guess. Okay, it is flipped. I'm getting word from my producer. It was flipped. So the 8.0 there is for Giga. Giga was our KDA leader in Heavy League last season. The man doesn't die, so I would have been shocked to see him at 1.5. And as you've seen in this series and throughout the split, unfortunately, Potato has been struggling with deaths all split long. As Jado takes a nice trade, there's some good work from the New Age bottom lane, and he's been getting it here from McShootums and Giga, who have been punishing his over-aggression and inability to hold the wave here in the early going. It's given me Niles flashbacks here from the LCS last split, Dia.
And that's problematic for sure. Bot lane's problematic as well. Tooper eats a lot of CC, but then a huge taunt from Jack comes in to save the day. I think Ray might get this kill. He's going to flash for it as well and die for it. It wasn't worth that commitment.
No, it was not worth that commitment, Dia. You could have... the flash just maybe a little unlucky there for Array, mate. I know things have not been going well for New Age, but you can't flash under turret for that. You're just giving Tooper the kill there, and then you give him the wave control as well. That's not worth it. It's not first blood. You're just going to lose out overall. I mean, look at the wave that he's pushing. Yes, they're going to get here to catch most of it, but it's a free reset for Tooper. That's never going to be worth it there for that summon summoner spell onto a support. So I'm glad that they're at least keeping their aggression up, but do got to think about the scenario there when you do commit that summoner spell.
And now he's not going to have it in the future when McShootums will be hitting the level 6 very soon. He's already been active on the map. He's demonstrated the willingness to come bot before, and I'd be warding up right about now, just in case that Sejuani decides to pay a visit to the very immobile now Chaser and Array, who are already struggling to keep Jado off their backs.
Yeah, been a little bit tricky there. Every time they've caught Jado, they think they have the engage, but they haven't quite calculated it right. The wave's pushing out against them, and McShootums is here. So is Age King, though. We might see a 3v3 as this wave pushes in.
It's actually so predictable, and that's exactly why Age King does show up, right? He knows as well as we do, based on last game and at the start of this one, that McShootums is not going to stay away from a lane that is pushing up to his tower. He's going to try and gank that, try and find some kills, and he's doing it once again here, going all the way around the Dragon Pit, going for the engage, and this time, Age King is not there. The taunt is going to come in, and Chaser is going to give up his life.
Yep, he is, and this is a worthwhile sacrifice for Chaser. He is not getting out of that one. Jado was definitely going to get the angle to get the taunt in, and that's just a little greedy from the bottom lane. They saw him on the initial gank. Age King spent some time to come cover them, and then they just step up, and he just takes a long path around. They step too far, and they get punished for it. Another kill goes over to Glaive. They're going to hop right onto the Drake there, and you can see, yeah, high KP for both of these junglers. Unfortunately for the side of New Age Frost, the kills that are associated with that KP for McShootums are a lot higher right now.
We've got to find some way to do this unilaterally. H King is beating it in kill participation as well. The stats, I know they don't lie, much like the minimap, but it is just so funny when we consider how the matchup has actually been playing out so far, because Glaive, they stomped game one. They did really, really well, and despite the fact that there were a few fights that went in the favor of New Age Frost, I came into game two very dubious about their chances, and with the early game going as it has, they need something to turn it around. That something is Chaser visiting the top lane.
Whew, there we go. Little bit of momentum here. And like you were saying, Dia, we get the kill onto Potato. That is very nice for New Age. Again, it can be a little tricky to hold Potato the later this game goes on. There's really no one on this team that can hold him in a side lane. He can just devastate turrets once he gets that full stack W. So this could become a bit of a problem. He's not that far down in CS. Now he has a kill. I think there are options to kill him, but I think it requires multiple members. So we could potentially be looking at a later game win condition for New Age Frost, despite the fact that they're down 1k gold at the moment.
They're definitely hoping that this one goes long Chaser, taking the long way around as well. It's going to get a lot of damage from McShootums, but Rio committing here only does it because he knows he's got Age King in his back pocket, and it's a lot of lockdown onto the Zoe. Puffles doesn't quite get finished off yet, though. It looks like he's going to be able to escape. Now the turnaround from Jad is deadly, as he's the one that takes down Age King in the end, and Array simply got involved a little bit too late there. Does take one kill with him, and another hook from Chaser could turn this around, but the Permafrost and the Sleep both layer onto Array just enough to keep him from finishing off any more kills.
Zoe's such a fun champion, guys. I just love how she giggles and like throws long range bubbles and one-shots you and steals your summoner spells to turn trades around. More trading here between the Tuper and Array. That was honestly a really nicely played fight by Array. He picked up double buffs on the initial kill, continued to dish out damage despite his teammates dying around him, but he was denied the second kill by the stolen heal from Puffles, and that is disgusting, Dia. That keeps everyone alive and makes the trade of kills extremely favorable for Glaive.
That's exactly the problem here as well, is that Array doesn't get to play the game as much as it looks like he's having fun against Tuper right there. Like you say, double buffs is the best that it gets for him because Tuper can keep his distance all that he wants, and when it really comes down to it, Array isn't going to be able to step up, much like in the mid lane, Rio can't step up either. Chat goes on a massive gank.
Okay, H-King doesn't have flash, so he can't chase this down. That was such nice timing there by Jatto, picking the perfect time to release the taunt, stopping the Lissandra Claw from getting her to safety. Another kill going over to New Age with this long-range pick composition. Jat continues to torment the members of New Age Frost, and the kill score extends 8-3 here. Dia getting a little bit nerve-wracking because, again, outside of that top lane, very vulnerable here are New Age Frost, and all of this gold turns into more damage, more items, and that is not something you want to see on a composition that can 100-0 you from halfway across the screen.
Yeah, I was going to say, for every kill that New Age Frost has gotten so far, it's turned into a 1,000 gold lead, almost, for Glaive Esports Onyx, and that alone is problematic. And coming up, their next problem is that they once again find themselves with no control over the objectives this time. They haven't gotten any priority on the Rift Herald like they did last game. Instead, they're being served in almost a bigger way, and they're about to feel it around this Dragon Array. Tries to take the 1v1 that he's already losing, and forced to flash by Jat is unlucky at the best of times.
Yeah, a little unlucky there. I know Array wants to take that. He sees the 1v1. He sees the Tuper come close. But again, it's really hard against an Ezreal who can just poke you out, who doesn't really need to interact with you until you are in kill range. I think that's pretty well played by the Tuper, and Jatto's arrival forces another summoner spell right before this Drake spawns in 30 seconds.
Goes in a little bit of danger as well. McShootums has roamed up, and so has Jat. Those sweepers are doing a lot of work, but thank God there's a control ward in the bush. New Age Frost, they're not taking this one lying down. They're very much still trying to play the game the best way they know how, and when we see fundamentals like that save their lives, especially in that mid lane, it looks really good. The thing is, Glaive Esports, they're playing with those fundamentals as almost second nature, and it's what has brought them to where they are in the standings.
Wait, Potato, what are you doing? Okay. Oh, jeez. If he takes two church shots there, he's dead. Still has to flash away. Getting flashed in on, there's the TP.
Oh, no.
Might have baited this.
Oh my God, he misses the slow though. Giga's still going to get taunted up here, but I think that he can hold out for long enough. As Rio comes up though, that's going to seal his fate. Just enough members committed into that top side to answer a dragon take in bot lane is going to barely clinch that for New Age Frost. They get something out of losing that objective.
All right, Potato, I see you there in the top lane.
Was that a Potato play?
I think he actually did. I actually think I'm going to give him the credit here. Knowing that they were on that Drake, there was no way to contest with Array coming back with the mid laner Rio chunked out by this Zoe. So instead okay, hold on here. We got to fight in the jungle.
Yeah, let's see what he can do now, because Potato's just teleported in. Doesn't look like he's going to find anything for it, despite the fact that he has that Stride Breaker and a great Sleepy Trouble Bubble does land. McShootums still gets hooked up though, and in goes Potato. Gonna get knocked up very shortly, and all the CC is being focused onto him. The damage, though, not quite there, and it's going to be Jat giving up his life to save the rest of his teammates from that devastating Urgot.
Yeah, that was hyper greedy here from Glaive, going into the enemy jungle with only 3 members to take away their blue buff. They get it. Honestly, they get out pretty scot-free, losing just the support and getting the TP out of Potato, who, again, okay, Potato. Okay.
I think it's like a shield thing. You wanted the shield. Now he doesn't have that disdain to get onto Giga, though, and that ends up saving his life, letting him drop the equalizer in the wrong direction, interestingly enough. But I guess we'll take those where we can get them. Array, however, he's going to be taking a lot in the form of damage. Couple of misplays there. Like you said, I think that equalizer definitely could have done a lot more damage, but at the end of the day, it's Array kind of stepping into an awkward position there. Doesn't have anyone in front of him, and you don't get to be alone if you're an Ophelia, so he just falls down, and that will mean the mid lane turret is forfeit. And again, you can see how difficult it is for Araymate to play this game out. If his teammates are chunked, if they can't frontline for him, he just doesn't get to do damage here. They're going to have to set up very, very precisely around objectives to keep their AD carry safe,
or to get Potato out into a side lane, which is why it is a little tragic that he TPs in and they only get one kill after what I will finally complete my point in saying I do think was a bit of a bait from him on the top side. So I will give him some credit for a clever play while the enemy team was taking Dragon.
You know what? It's okay, DJ. You don't have to wrap your point. And the reason for that is because on the other side of it, there's just weird stuff that I'm about to say waiting for you. For example, I was gonna pitch to you an idea that I have. You know how Jake always talks, Jake Kelton, by the way, always talks about how he could use more spectator slots in League of Legends?
Yeah.
I was wondering, which do you want more? More spectator slots in League of Legends, when, just to cheapen that value, you can already spectate through OPGG, or the ability for spectators to question mark ping visibly.
I'm going to say for the sake of everyone in NA's already frayed mental, I will take the spectator slots. I think spectator pings would absolutely ruin every player for the rest of eternity.
I understand, I get it, but right now I'm just getting tilted at the fact that I can't ping them and be like, guys, what is happening? For example, Tooper walking up there, that's a question mark ping, and then getting engaged on a chaser, that's a question mark ping. A Ray's gonna go down, that's a question mark ping. New Age, Frost, these things have got to be everywhere right now, but it is Glaive Esports Onyx that come out on top.
Spam the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see your question marks. There we go, Necrox, yes. As that was a fumble over themselves there in the bottom lane from New Age. Yeah, you get a root on the Ezreal, but that doesn't mean you just get to go all ham on it. Everybody comes in. Age King's TP on the shield. The Stand United is late. They get blown up. They get taken down. It's just a disaster. You went into a 2-0-4 Ezreal with Sunder. You didn't have your mythic item yet. You don't win those, boys.
Let's see if that hook land. Oh, he's not even gonna go for the hook. He's not even gonna go for the interrupt. Well, on the top lane, well, people aren't having that problem. They're pulling the trigger every which way. Giga is getting another kill on an overextended Potato. I mean, look at him. Potato's just pushed up to the second tower with no vision.
No vision, no teammates around him, and that's the hope here for New Age, Dia. We were setting this up like he had kills. He's 2-2-1. He's the only member of his team that is technically still positive here in the KDA score. He's got a full item. He's working on a split pushing item. This was their hope, and he's just caught out. Now they're taking a 4v5.
Yeah,
Potato's not even up. He doesn't have TP.
This team fight is always the hope of Glaive Esports Onyx. They're the ones that have drafted for this, and right now, having set up the chokes, they can take as many engages as they want. Chaser's going to go down after trying desperately to salvage some of the vision, but the vision is gone, and I tell you what, so is that dragon.
Yeah, I mean, the Dragon's completely gone here. You can't walk into a composition like this and expect to not lose lives. You're gonna get slept just like this. You're gonna get taunted up. Like, the range is absolutely immense, and now they're just gonna walk into the jungle as 5. They're gonna take away this blue buff. They can just threaten all of this because their itemization is better. They're way accelerated here with a 5k gold lead. 3 Drakes in their back pockets, in the jungle is where they thrive. A single Sleepy Trouble Bubble is life-ending, just like this one. Puffles, baby, stop it!
He's gonna do it there. Potato has that blast cone to get out to safety, but life-ending it certainly is. Puffles is looking for more, has that stolen flash in his pocket, but doesn't end up over-committing into the Fog of War. Tooper, on the other hand, may have overestimated himself with that Fog of War. Like you say, does still have the flash, but doesn't end up needing it. Actually almost takes down Chaser on his way out as well.
Yeah, nice stuff there from Tooper, knowing his limits on this Ezreal. The dash away, he still has the flash if the hook comes out, and he chunks Chaser to Kingdom Come there, down to a quarter HP. Okay, here we got to play on the bottom side. We're not even going to go directed camp to it. They didn't time it right. They didn't get the lockdown, Dia.
That is absolutely tragic. I do have to say, I think it's incredibly scripted that we're still playing this game in a way that every kill that New Age Frost get, there's 1k gold going to Glaive Esports. Somebody tell me Heavy League isn't scripted, and we'll see if it turns around right now, because the thing is, we're starting off a team fight, but it's a 3v4, and this time it's in the favor of New Age Frost. They get another kill, and Jack can't even finish off a Rio. Once again, just when the game is looking at its most dire, New Age Frost do find a fight.
Big time once again, and it's Protato, the hope here in this game for New Age. Don't know about that, Age King. That is a Sejuani, a very tanky member. Protato will walk out, tanks a couple turret shots, but is pretty strong here. 4-2-1, very close to completing what I expect to be Titanic Hydra. He may have it on this base, and that again restores hope here for New Age Frost. It is finally Glaive who are a bit disrespectful around summoner spells. Protato had the TP. Giga did not. Puffles was in the top lane without a summoner spell to join. They get outnumbered. Protato, without that Zoe there, is able to soak up the damage from the rest of the members of Glaive. They take 2 kills, and now he's back in an accelerated state here. 2 items will match up with Giga, but again, at this point in the game, Giga's items do not help him in a 1v1 against Protato. It will take multiple members to take this Urgot down if they can establish a safe split push with some vision control for Protato.
Doing their best right now to set that up, but problem is that this Urgot is almost better off, and we see it right there, farming the jungle than he is showing himself, because wherever Urgot is not, you can win a fight, and right now we're never seeing that more clearly than this top lane. Rio, oh my lord, it's an illegal amount of damage, and it just gets worse. Puffles has that flash, has the sleepy trouble bubble as well, so isn't even going to need to use it, and like we say, where Protato Senpai isn't, you get to do whatever you want.
Yeah, lovely stuff once again from Puffles, just dominating proceedings once again in game number 2. It's a composition very well suited to the champion he's piloting, and now we have seen him on a long-range poke champion, on a very high-skill engage melee AP assassin, and making both look absolutely brilliant here as he chunks Chaser down for 9/10 of his HP. Nothing he can do. He gets him again!
Puffles, please! You can't be doing him like that! He finds the perfect angle, and, well, I'm getting excited about it, but the reality is I should be excited about Protato also sniping out McShoot'ems. It is carry for carry right now. Puffles, he might go down, does have to use his own flash to escape to safety, is trying to turn it around onto Protato. Jat is here to peel, but Tooper's coming in from the side as well. Well, Protato ends up going down.
Puffles.
It's going to be an entire wipe as this Zoe is immortal.
Oh my god, Puffles, just don't do it to him, man. He's just too good. We were just saying he already showed it on the Akali. This man's an assassin no matter what you put him on. They can't deal with the Zoe, even with Protato coming in from the flank and assassinating the jungler, saving the Baron. They can't get onto the Zoe. She flashes away. I think Tooper finally is dead here. A lot of CC coming down. He doesn't have flash. Heals up.
He's almost got healed. If they just, I was hoping for it. I was really excited about the Tooper 1v2 with no summoners, but it finally does come to a close, and Glaive Esports are going to grab their second Cloud Soul of the series, unless Protato has something to say about that one as well, because he played the hero around the Baron.
He did play hero around the Baron. He's going to have to snipe him out again, though, and McShoot'ems is full HP this time around. Now going down to half.
Unfortunately, is not, and he approaches the Dragon Pit, doesn't get the smite, and is now going to go down. Rio is going to have to burn ult on himself, but doesn't even get it off in time. Well, once again, Protato does play that hero, sniping out McShoot'ems. Can he survive the ensuing team fight? Giga says he cannot, as he claims a kill. So will Puffles, claiming 2 and almost making it 3. Well, Giga, he barbecues his way through that one as well.
Yeah, honestly, Protato almost did it again. Dia, he was very close getting the fear and the ulti off. We'll take a look at it here. H-King just has to run in here. This is Soul for Glaive. He tries to get in. He gets interrupted very wisely by McShootums. Does he even get a smite off? He does. It's too early, though. It gets taken down by McShootums. And then look once again, Potato mostly untouched. He gets the ulti off. This creates a big zone after the fear comes in, but it's just not enough. Look at Puffles on the backside of the fight, absolutely deleting Arraymate. There's no damage left, and Potato can only do so much on his lonesome. He ends up falling and cannot quite be the hero for a team that is down nearly 10k gold here at 25 minutes.
The fact is that Array simply is not going to get to play the game. I know we said it from minute 1, but he got 2 kills since then. He's gotten 3 assists, and I was like, maybe the dream is alive. But since then, we've seen just time after time that he's not able to approach, and even Potato, when he's the one that manages to approach, he's getting exhausted. He's getting CC layered into him. There's so much AoE from Glaive that they don't have to fear him, and now, with the Cloud Soul in their pocket, Baron on the horizon, it's up to them to decide how they want to end the game. They want to end it with an engage, though, as well. That's just a ray gone.
Oh my god, it's just so you just can't play the game, Dia. It's so long range. The carpet just destroys his ability to escape, and now the jungle completely forfeit here to Glaive. New Age cannot take their own camps. Potato, you can't do this. You know this.
He's dead here as well. There isn't any safety provided to him from Chaser. He doesn't have that dark passage of significant distance, and unfortunately, you've just lost your actual carry as well as your supposed carry, and now you're going to lose the Baron as well.
Yeah, the Soul is gone. The Baron is definitely gone. The camps have been cleared out. The vision established. Glaive once again know exactly how to close out games when they have an advantage, finding their picks, turning them into objectives, and still going forward here with 2. I think Jaddo's going to die for this just to guarantee. Oh my god.
Jad is a support, and he is tanking 4 people right now. This is not a drill. Jad is going insane. It is wild that is allowed, and even more wild that Array actually manages to survive that, although he does get slept. We'll see if that changes. Oh my lord, the red carpet, the glacial prison, they simply do not allow AD carries to play the game here at Glaive Esports.
Oh my god, how many times have we said Array has got to be smashing his head on his keyboard? He literally just died 100-0 from nearly 1,000 units. He had to use his ulti to stay alive, got slept for 1,000 units, and then got ultied from 1,000 units.
He got
that
ultied
is
twice.
Disgusting.
That's hit him and Giga hit him.
Disgusting. That's so dumb. And Glaive are going to turn that. They're going to clean up the fight, and they are absolutely going to steamroll over game number 2 here.
An absolutely wild performance from Glaive Esports. Makes it look almost more convincing than the first win, just because of the fact that it was essentially a 4v5 this entire time, and they made sure of it.
Yeah. I'm going to be very, very frank, and it's a bit harsh, but this game was over in draft. Because as you said, Dia, in draft, this game was 4v5. Arraymate never had a chance to play this game, ever. Not a single time in this game did he. I would bet if I see the damage charts, he might be in like just higher than Jaddo. I don't think he did any damage that game because he wasn't allowed to. You can't approach those fights. You don't get to do anything on that champion into a composition that can do that much damage from 1,000 units. And again, there was no lockdown. How many times did we see Puffles get into what looked like a bad spot and then just dash away, portal away, flash away? Nobody could get on him. He finished 10-0-12. Absolutely insane here in game number 2. This needs a total relook here in the draft from New Age because they set themselves up for failure from minute number 1 in this game.
They really did. But to hear more about how things went from minute number 1, and how Glaive took themselves from setting themselves up for success to actually executing on it, I want to hear from Necrox and RMC. So I'm going to throw it to them very quickly before we get into the third game.
Hey, we're here, and it will be quite quick. I can tell you that one was painful. 200 years of sadness on my end, RMC. 200 laughs from you about the draft there from this squad. And yeah, that one, I mean, they said it more convincing than the first, and I don't think it really had much to do with execution. It just comes down to your champions versus theirs.
Yeah, and I actually do want to talk about execution, despite the fact that it didn't matter, because they didn't actually look that bad. Like, Potato, yes, died to First Blood again. The exact same gank path. They do need to correct that. But after that, Potato did pretty well in the matchup. Age King on this Shen, I will say this first. I loathe that jungle Shen. You are one that Shen, you send it jungle. To me, that was absolutely terrible. But Age King piloted it well. If you put Age King on an actual jungle champion, you give him that rumble maybe, which we keep seeing go over to Glaive, and I think that game goes very, very differently. The shields were on point, the taunts were on point, constantly found the right targets. There's just no follow-up damage, and for Array as well, the fact that Array wasn't like 0 and 10 is a testament to how he piloted those fights. I mean, was it perfect? No, did look a little rusty in laning, but once he got out of lane, Array did the most he could do given the cards he was dealt. So it's really brutal when you have these mechanics which could do something, but you're handicapped by the draft.
And I mean, we were talking about it before. A simple way to help is a cleanse. I mean, all our casters got to say that entire game was, oh, Array got hit by one thing and now Array is gone. I mean, literally, if you cleanse the bubble, if you cleanse whether it's the Sejuani, anything, maybe there's some more potential for outplay, but I mean, there's just too much to deal with. It feels like everything went wrong. And I have a few notes here about what Aphelios can do, and none of those were followed tonight. I will update you about how much fire is in my house because this book is getting burned and I'm sick of it. Never draft that champion again. I don't want to see it. Throw it away. We're back to Ezreal. None of this 200 years. I'm off the ship. Going into game 3, RMC, because that game was just disaster and I don't want to think about it anymore. Going into game 3, we have a little bit of news before we get there. Games across the league. We actually have more games than just this one right in front of your screen. I think we have some updates about how things have been going across the board. AoE are 2-0 over LBK Lemons right now. Who flashed that fight 2 over Gamers for God as well? I mean, Dia, I know, is crying, but I don't think any of us are surprised by that one. Rage Quit and Wyo are 1-1 right now, actually. That one's actually pretty surprising. I'd love to see Rage Quit and Wyo going at it.
Yeah, and Sparta Prime apparently 1-0 up over Lotus, and that one does catch me a little bit by surprise. No knock on Sparta Prime. They looked good, but Lotus has looked nigh unstoppable in the last couple of weeks, so a bit of an upset there for now. We'll have to see how the rest of that series go. And of course, if you're watching the stream right now, we've been covering here Glaive versus New Age Frost, and you know, it's 2-0 right here so far. And you know what? There is a silver lining to the very bad game, or the very one-sided game we just saw here in game 2, and that is it was a draft issue, and draft issues can be fixed quite easily. Literally, just if you just take every champion you played and say we're not playing them again, it changes the whole draft up. So that it's not the end of the